I have been crocheting for as long as I can remember. My aunt claims that as soon as I was old enough to hold a crochet hook, she put one in my hand and I just started going doing chains. I would say that my first memory is probably about like 5th grade, which was a long ass time ago. And since then, I have of course crocheted quite a bit, but being a jack of all trades, master of none, I tend to bounce around from project to project more often than not, leaving certain things unfinished. Can you be chill? Lay down. Okay. So of course, over the years, I just kind of follow whatever I feel like doing. Crochet kind of like fell on the back burner for a long time, especially after I developed carpal tunnel at a very young age. However, in the last few months, I have found myself gravitating towards it again. I don't know what the change was. Maybe it's because I've finally, after well over a decade, probably 2 decades, was like, I should learn how to make a granny square. I had never learned how to make a granny square for some reason. I'm also very notorious for not following patterns and just looking at things and be like, I can do that. Let's just wing it. And so a few months ago when I was like, yeah, I'm gonna learn how to make a granny square, that turned into, I wanna make a granny square sweater, 1 to 100 as usual. And I did it. And it turned out really cute. I did also wing it. It was based off a photo, this photo that I found on Pinterest. Finishing a project, specifically finishing a crochet project when it had been a very long time since I had properly finished a project, really just sparked something inside of me. And so I decided I'm gonna keep crocheting because that is what is making me happy right now in this moment. I've made a list of all the things that I would like to make before it gets super warm outside. First, I would like to make a granny square like crop top situation, something like kind of like this. I've seen a lot of different variations. I like the ones with the little squares, and I have seen a version of it where they're made out of like moons and stars, and I think that would be really cute. Maybe if I get around to it, I'll make one of those. But in particular, I'm interested in one of those where it's like one big granny square and then goes over the shoulders and then around the sides. I also don't love the like muscle shirt look on me. I want it to be a little more like pulled in, and so that'll also be fun to figure out how to do. I really would like to make a poncho. I've seen a lot of ponchos. I think it would look really cute, just like thrown over a tube top. I've seen an Instagram video of a girl making like a green one with a V-stitch, and that looks pretty simple. I want to do that, but I think I want to do it in like a purplish color because I am a purple girl. I would also really like to make maybe like 1 or 2 more hair bandanas. I've seen some like headscarves that have like little chains that like drape, and I think that would be really cute and really fun and very on brand for me and my style and what I like. I'm very excited to get started on these projects and see how it goes, see where we get. Let's get to it. I went into this granny square tank top feeling very confident despite trying to swing this without a pattern or even really any guidance at all on what I was gonna do, and I hit my first snag almost immediately. I had picked a color palette that I thought was cute, the blues, pinks, purples, and greens. Once I finally got to adding the green, however, I realized that the green just felt out of place. I didn't want to remove the green. I really felt like it needed to be there, so I ended up frogging it to rehash the order of the colors. I thought that maybe if I had the green not only be in the very center, but I incorporated it more often, it would help balance out the fact that I, for some reason, decided I needed 2 shades of almost all the other colors. Thankfully, I hadn't made it too far into the project, and I do think moving the colors around was really beneficial. I ended up liking it a lot. I kept this going until I hit my second snag, the realization that I had never made a granny square this large before. So this is where I'm at so far. I don't know why it's like twisting a little bit. I've never like made a granny square this big, and I don't know if it has to do with the size or it has to do with the color change. Not a fan of the twisting. Gonna have to like Google how to make that stop. Again, hoping that it'll go away with blocking. So it is like reaching a point where it's wide enough, like it's hitting my armpit. I don't want it to go any wider, but it is not tall enough or long enough or like wrapping around my boobs enough. So I think I'm going to start making the second one because I'm gonna have to start kind of freestyling the rest of it. Again, I don't want it to get much wider right here. It's already hit a good point, but like from the side, we're not doing so hot. After a quick internet search, I discovered that it would be beneficial for me to turn my work. Before this project, I had only done single color granny squares, and there were only like 4 to 5 rows, so I never had any issues with twisting, and for some reason never felt the need to flip the granny square back and forth like any other crochet project. I thought maybe I could block the twist out of it, but in the end decided it was going to be the back panel, and I'm never going to see my back anyway, so that's not my business. A little check-in to see how the expanding of the sides are coming along, and I am genuinely so in love with the colors. Restarting with the green in the center really was the perfect choice. I was fairly pleased with how this was coming along. Now, when I started this project, I told myself that I would weave the ends as I go to make my life easier, and that did not happen. And then when I saw the amount of ends I needed to weave, I tossed it to the side and decided that now was the perfect time to start my poncho. The poncho seemed pretty straightforward. Do a V-stitch, make a long rectangle, and then we'll attach the rectangle to itself in a way that allows for a cute little V in the front. I was making pretty decent progress on this, and then life happened, and I kind of forgot about everything. Hi. It's been a hot minute. It's probably been like 3-4 weeks since I last sat and talked about a project. I've been working on things in the background, but also life has been moving and things have been happening, and I have not really been able to prioritize sitting and crocheting recently, and frankly there have been a couple of times where I could be prioritizing it, and then I decided playing Baldur's Gate 3 was a better option. I made a necromancer this time and I'm really excited about it. So I'm making good progress on the granny square style crop top, tank top, if you will. The weaving the ends are driving me nuts, and so I'm getting frustrated there. It's really close to being done. It just needs to weave the ends and then do a simple border around the arms and the neck and the base, and it's done. It's ready to be blocked. It's ready to be worn. I've been working on the purple poncho style top, and it's coming along. However, something about doing the same stitch over and over and over is getting very monotonous, and the yarn, as much as it is pretty and soft and kind of cool to the touch, it is slippery as shit, and it is just sliding right off my hook. And so that one is taking a little bit longer to get done. I'm working on it every chance I get. I have worked on it at work, I have worked on it at home, I have worked on it at the hospital waiting for my sister to go into labor. However, it is just feeling like it is taking forever. I am getting a little bit restless, I guess. I want something to be completed, and so I think now would probably be a good time to either buckle down with the granny square crop top tank top situation, or it's time to start making some little bandanas. And so I'm leaning a little more towards the bandana. I have made one before. It ended up being a little short hanging in the back, and so I think I'm gonna try and do it a little bit longer, but I did finish that project in a day. So I think that might be a good one to kind of get the ball rolling again. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. We're trying to regroup. Point is, it's time to crochet some more. As expected, this bandana took no time at all. I kept it simple and went with a granny stitch. I did use a YouTube tutorial for this one. I don't remember exactly which video I used, but this one is pretty similar, if not exactly the same. I made pretty quick work of it, and then I was ready to decorate. My original plan was to add chains, but I ended up opting for just some cute little star charms instead. I have a different idea now for a headscarf with chains, and I think I'll end up making that in a later video. With the dopamine of a finished project under my belt, and still really wanting to avoid going back to the crop top, I pivoted back to my poncho because it was very close to being finished as well, and felt a lot less daunting to deal with. So I'm blocking this entire piece, and I'm like, oh, something over here looks really weird in the pattern. Yeah, what the hell happened there? Well, it's on the back and I don't think it'll be that noticeable. After a quick block, it was time to get it all stitched together before I had to finally face the granny square crop top. Something has gone wrong. I don't know what has gone wrong, but I just do not love the way that this has turned out. The audio on this video was not great because my microphone was not connected and I didn't realize, so I'm just gonna pop in here with a voiceover. Long story short, I wasn't in love with the silhouette of the top. It felt awkward, it looked awkward, I wanted the center to sit higher, I wanted the straps to be thinner, for the sides to come in closer. Just overall the fit wasn't working for me. Honestly, this is something that would have caused me to set aside the project and let it go get lost in the abyss of my closet, but I was feeling really determined to finish this, especially for this video. I wanted to see the vision in my head come to life. So after some deliberation, I did something that felt very sacrilegious. I cut up my crochet. I know, I didn't like doing it. It felt so wrong. I did try to salvage what yarn I could, but I was not going to go through the hassle of frogging the entire project. I wanted it done soon. Although I originally didn't want to have solid blocks of color on the side, I really wanted the colors to change. It didn't feel like that was going to be the best case scenario to achieve the silhouette that I wanted, and so I opted for the dark blue yarn, adding it to the side, kind of winging the straps and bringing them in hopes that they would pull inward as opposed to being too wide. I added a blue border of single crochets to the base and gave it another steam to help pull down the sides. And then it was time to see them all on. I'm really happy with how these turned out. I'm really glad that I decided to take apart the granny square top and rebuild it. Putting that on and realizing that it was just not fitting correctly. It was too big, it was too boxy. I wanted to kind of just like leave it alone because like I don't know what to do with this. I do think adding the blue and narrowing the straps made me like it more. The hair bandana I do think is very cute. I love the little charms on it. I do think it looked a little bit better when my hair was a little bit longer, and so once it grows back out I think I'll get more wear out of it. I did accidentally make it like a touch too big. But in my defense, I was following a pattern to get the little, like, I think they're called piqués. I don't think that's right, actually. But to get these little, like, designs to hit every third, there had to be a certain amount of rows. And I knew that doing, like, it was either I needed to add 2 or take 2 away. And if I had taken the 2 away, it was just gonna be way too small on my head and it was gonna fit awkward. And so it was better for it to be a little bit bigger. That's okay though. I still think it turned out really cute and I'm very happy with it. I did end up wearing it to a card show with my overalls and a t-shirt. And I did have a girl stop me and tell me that it looked really cute, that my whole outfit looked really cute. And so I think it was worth it, although the wind did almost knock it completely off my head because it's a little bit too big. As for the poncho, I have already gotten so much wear out of it. I love to throw it on when I'm sitting at my desk if I'm like wearing a tank top or just sitting there in like a little bralette or something. If I get chilly, I like to throw that on, you know, something without sleeves. I've thrown it over what I'm wearing to run to Target, to get groceries. I love throwing it on over my dance clothes before I go to the studio and dance, just because it's easy to just like take on and off once I get there. But yeah, I've already got so many other things in the works, and so if you're interested in seeing anything else that I make, that would be really cool if you stuck around and checked out some future videos, since this is probably going to be the first video to ever make it up online. I don't plan on doing only crochet, although right now I am in a very crochet rabbit hole. I have just so much yarn and so many things that I want to make, and it's giving me tunnel vision. I am dipping my toes into some other projects that I've wanted to do. I do need to pivot back around and get back on my chainmail and work on my Ren Fair costumes. I'm also really excited about starting my first cosplay, and so I'm already kind of trying to brainstorm on a particular part of it that is probably going to make it way too complicated for being a very first cosplay, but it is what it is. We're gonna see what happens, but thank you so much for watching my video. It means the world to me. If you are also a crocheter, I would love to hear about what you're working on or see photos. I don't even know, can you post photos in YouTube comments? Either way, thanks again